Starting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good evening, whatever the fuck it is. It's like our first late night owl podcast. It is January 7 now of 2019. I'll be one of your hosts. My name is Tim.
All right.
And who may you be?
Oh, you want? Oh, shit. Okay. I'm your other host.
All
My
right.
name's Seth.
And we may or may not have another friend coming in later.
Who's also named. Is
Tim.
also Tim.
Hopefully we don't have the same voice. You guys don't get it confused. Yeah, so, well, since it's the first podcast, I was thinking maybe we could just do a manga and anime recommendation for the people who are just starting or maybe want to get to know about this otaku world, maybe. So I asked Set if he could give like a top 3 anime and manga that he wants to recommend you guys. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to go, or do you want to take turns, or?
Yeah, let's take turns.
Okay. What do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Let's
right.
start off with manga.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for manga, I would probably recommend like mainstream manga first, so that you can have a discussion with like other people because it's well known.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would probably recommend probably the lighter one. I would probably recommend Naruto first.
Damn, Naruto has like a long episode, like what is it, like 500 or 600 chapters or something,
Yeah,
right?
but it's like light, you know.
Oh,
It's
you mean
like
like compared to, um, what's that? Like One Piece.
yeah. It's something like you can finish, because like I don't recommend Bleach because it kind of like ended abruptly, and it
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah,
Yeah, or else I would have recommended Bleach. But
yeah.
probably not, because Naruto is still kind of like it's still kind of popular.
Like it
But like
ended, but what's it
yeah,
called?
yeah,
Like the new Boruto or something is like out right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for Bleach, no one's talking about that anymore. Like it's super dead.
I mean, for me, Bleach died when they captured Aizen, and they're like, Ichigo's like, this is the full potential of my power. If I use this, I'm never gonna be able to transform into a Shinigami or whatever.
Yeah,
And then they kept going. It's like, what the fuck? He had like a talisman or something to transform him back to a Shinigami. I was like, oh my god, I'm over it. They should have
yeah,
just ended it there.
yeah. And like he wrote about that too, the author for Bleach. He was like how he was forced to write more of the story, even though he didn't want to.
Yeah, I think it's because they were actually competing. Like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece was like the top 3 manga and anime, I guess.
Yep.
It was crazy because there's like those arcs where if one of the 3 main mangas or anime would do that, the other ones had to do it too.
Yeah. But anyways, we should get back on topic. We should get another podcast about. We just talk about Bleach.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So Naruto, if you haven't like heard about it, pretty much about like this ninja. He's like a misfit ninja,
Mm-hmm.
and he has like he's the typical superhero story. No
Yeah.
family, no
Yeah.
dad, orphan. He has like this nine-tail demon fox inside of him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like full of actions and martial arts, a little bit of romance, some humor. So yeah, recommended age probably 12 and up for teens.
And it's also progressive too. It starts as him as a little kid, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it matures over time. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah, yeah. So if you're like a teen, you can like you pretty much grow up with Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one, I would probably recommend Death Note. It's 12 volumes, so you can probably read it in a day.
Was it that short?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
12. Yeah, so Death Note is like a detective series, mystery, supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about the main character. There's like I think it's like two and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about like this detective war against Light. So Light is this guy who stumbles upon a death note where if you write anyone's name in it, they automatically die, and you can write how they die,
Yeah,
and then they'll like like this guy stabs himself or something, and then
it actually
he'll
happens. Yeah,
yeah it'll actually happen, and
yeah.
then one of the FBI detective L is trying to catch Light because what he's doing is wrong, and they go into like this weird war, and it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, it's like a psychological
Yeah,
mind
well,
game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I'll probably recommend the darker side. Would probably Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's still ongoing. So and it's pretty popular with the community right now.
Yeah, it's like the one of the mainstream ones for Attack of the Titan.
Yep. All
Yeah.
right, and that's it. So Attack on Titan. It's about it's post-apocalyptic. It's
Mm-hmm.
about humans that are stuck behind these massive walls, and then outside they're surrounded by gigantic, naked, man-eating humanoids. Yeah,
uh,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no spoilers. That's pretty much the plot. And yeah, that's all the top three mangas
top
for
three
me.
for you. Okay. Well, for me, um, this is more of a historical manga, but my number one is it's called Vagabond. It's about a samurai. Um, how like everything in that story is basically like historical. There's only like samurais. There's no guns, but the main character, Musashi,
Oh
it's
shit!
his.
The other Tim's here now.
Oh, okay,
Hey,
that's cool. What's up, Dan? How's it going?
going all right? What about you guys?
All
Good,
right, pretty
good.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
your was we were just starting off with three mangas we would recommend
To like
new.
total beginners or someone who want to get to know about this world. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So my number one was Vagabond. Yeah, it's historical. It's really progressive. I think it's still ongoing, but the art style and everything, it's like really, like I don't know. It gives you the vibe that it's like really old school, and yeah, I think it's kind of weird. Not many people know about it. It's not really mainstream, I guess, but that's something that I definitely recommend as my number one manga to read. And I'm surprised you didn't have this for your number, like your top three today. But my number two is Gantz, the manga. So for Gantz or Gantz, I don't know. There's like different ways of saying it, but it's basically the main character happens to die, and then he gets sucked into this kind of weird alien extermination game a little bit. It's kind of sci-fi ish, but it's really cool because it tells it tells it tells the reader that how maybe if it was you, how you would react and everything. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of unrealistic aliens and stuff like that that all come and try to kill him, and their whole goal is to score points to either free themselves or get stronger and stuff like that. And let's see, my number three is the mainstream Hunter x Hunter, or just Hunter x Hunter. Um, yeah, this is I think instead of like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece and stuff like that, it's not really that mainstream, but I do like the fact that it's a little more text heavy, but the adventures and stuff of like a little kid progressing and trying to get to his ultimate goal is something that I don't know, something that I like it, and I think it'll be good if yeah, if all of you could start on that too. So yeah, that's my top three manga.
All right, I'm just gonna add to the thing. The reason why I didn't recommend Gantz is because I feel like it's too mature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's extremely gory and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
So, like,
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it depends on like the person too. Like if you want, I guess if you want to start off with manga and you want to like talk about it with other people,
Mm-hmm.
you probably don't want to talk about Gantz right away because then they can misjudge you, like for a lot of things, right? Because Gantz is very like I feel like it's something I wouldn't talk about like right away either. I'd be like, hey, what's up? You like Gantz? No, you gotta start off like slow. Like when you're trying to get to know people, right? You want to start off.
You mean like towards just regular people who
Just
don't know about it, or
yeah, because like the point of introducing people to manga is just introducing stuff, right? So you don't want to introduce something that's overly complicated or something that's too harsh, something like that. Like when you get to know someone, it's the same thing. You don't tell like, oh hey, you tell them all the secrets about your life. No, you talk about the broad stuff, like hey, how's the weather, or the football game, something like that, and then you start like diving in deeper into like oh yeah, my mom just died, man, blah blah, blah or something like that, or my girlfriend has Alzheimer's, whatever disease.
well,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I'm like starting off with like the really mainstream stuff that you see in like mostly Western, culture. Like if you go to Anime Expo, you'll see like people dress up as people from Attack on Titan, Naruto, or Death Note. Not anymore, but rarely you'll see. And then probably like Sword Art and something like that. Those are pretty mainstream. But those aren't. Wait, Sword Art's not a manga, so I'm sorry.
no, yeah, totally understandable, but yeah, I mean, it's just preference. Like, it's not. I don't know if it's just like kids that's like just listening or wants to get into it, or you want your kids to your children to start reading or whatever. But definitely
Yeah.
the suggestion of my manga is more adult based, and I don't know. You really have to be like a yeah. You don't really talk about these manga that I recommended. Um, yeah, well, besides Hunter x Hunter, yeah, the other two,
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter I feel is okay.
yeah,
Yeah. But Gantz, I haven't read Vagabond, but I feel like that's mature as well.
yeah. It's I don't know. I think it's more towards people who like history, like the whole Japanese samurai kind of thing, you know. So yeah,
Okay.
is there anything you want to add on, or are we good?
Yeah, I think that's good for now. What about the other two?
I think one of the great parts about manga is that there's a lot of different subjects that you can explore in manga. So I think if I were to try to introduce new people to manga, I would try to give them something a little grounded. I like the Vagabond recommendation because it's got history to it. Like you can,
Yeah, it's like literal history.
yeah, it's easier for someone to get into something like that than to like jump head on into something like Gantz, I guess.
Yeah.
So I would recommend like different subjects to try to like give them a feel about like the breadth of how wide manga is.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could recommend something by like Junji Ito for like horror manga.
Mm-hmm.
A good one would be like Go, I guess. I don't know. That one's kind of weird. It's got like walking fish things.
Oh, really? I never read it before. Is that like one of that author's most like famous or popular manga or?
I mean, I guess he's not that widely known, but he is known for being like the horror guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And so is that something that you'd recommend for them for the first timers to get into or start reading?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's good to go in try to experience the full breadth of it.
Okay.
And similar to Vagabond, I would recommend something like Otoyomegatari, or I think it's called A Bride Story.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhat grounded in history. It's got a lot of it tries to tell you the story between like a young woman and a man, like newly married and experiencing life in like Central Asia.
Okay. Is it like a drama type or genre?
Yeah, definitely a drama type.
Okay. Okay. And you got your last one, your third one?
I don't know what my last one would be. I definitely didn't come in here with a list.
Yeah, you're totally like dragged in last minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, if anyone else wants to add about the manga part, we could move on to the anime part.
All right, so we're doing anime movies only, right? Not
Well, sorry, I didn't like specify, but it could be
like
the TV
series.
shows or movies. But I just feel like as like a beginner, you don't want to get into like too heavy of a TV show or series. You could just do like a movie that's only like 2 hours or less. I think it'll be a little more easier. I don't know. That's just like a personal preference, but yeah.
I
Um,
like I like how none of us recommended One Piece
uh, yeah. Wait, for anime or manga?
for any. Wait, unless it's on your
Oh no no
like
no no. Yeah, I it's not in my list either.
yeah. So I figured that too.
Yeah,
I,
I would actually not put that in my list. I think it's too long. I think that's kind of daunting.
I
yeah,
think it's just that the manga is, it's cool, but it's something that you pick up maybe as like your third or fourth long series or manga, I guess. But if if like we might go off topic to the anime instead of a manga, but the anime version, there's a lot of side stories that has nothing to do with the main story, so people might get confused where it's like, how come they didn't
yeah.
mention this part, or it's kind of weird. You have to actually get in more in detail about the whole manga and anime, how everything works and stuff.
Yeah, they call those filler episodes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. So One Piece has over 800 episodes at the moment, and I have no
Jeez.
idea how many chapters they have for the manga.
Yeah, I bet it's like more than 1,000 or something. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll go start with the movie. You want to go first, Samson?
Sure. Or are you talking about me?
Yeah, to number one. Let's
the,
go.
the hardest part is having two people with the same name. um well, I was kind of conflicted about my number one and two, but I picked Battle Angel Alita for my number one just because the live action version is gonna be out this year, February 14th, I think, around there. But uh, it's the reason why I recommended it is because you could actually I don't know if maybe people might be listening after or later on or I don't know when, but maybe you want to watch the movie just because it's like sci-fi. Oh, there's like a robot or cyborg or whatever however you want to call it, and you're just like trying to figure out the origin and stuff like that. And there's an anime version that's really old. It's like 1992 or 93, and it's about I guess a robot that was thrown away from like the rich area. It's like post op apocalyptic or I don't know how to say it. I'm like
Post apocalyptic.
there you go. Yeah. Um, yeah. What's it called? So this doctor or scientist, you could say, picks up this abandoned android or cyborg, however, whatever you want to call it, and takes it back and like rebuilds her, and then doesn't have like the memory of her old self, so she kind of tries to blend in with the people and try to pretend to be like a regular human. And there's like different conflicts, and because of the era of that time, there's like a lot of criminals, people who's trying to survive off of like wastes and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's my number one. But my number two would be Akira. I think, I don't know, a lot of people recommend Akira, and in my opinion, it's like only filthy casuals recommend Akira, but it. I think it's great because it has everything that an anime could start off with. There's um, like gore and nudity, and then like everything that you wouldn't see like in a regular cartoon. It's like the full, oh, this is an anime type deal where it's like more free, or it's not restricted, I could say. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy anime, and it's like as a first time you'll be like blown away. You're gonna be like, what did I just watch? This is crazy. you know but yeah, that's my number two. It would have been my number one actually, but just because of the movie that's going to be coming out for Battle Angel Alita, I just made that my number one. And and then my number three is like totally off of like the post op. I can't say it. What the apocalyptic, post apocalyptic.
Mhm.
My number three is Kiki's Delivery Service. This is like family friendly. This is like it's the makers, or what's it called, the director and everything is really well known. It's called Djibouti Studios. They're famous for a lot of those type of movies. I think there's another one. I think a main, what's it called? Like mainstream, or I guess you could say, is like Ponyo, or like Howl's Moving Castle, that you might have seen on at a Best Buy or something like that. But this is really friendly. There is no violence whatsoever. It's like a family friendly anime, and I definitely recommend this for like people that wants to just like start in slowly, not too aggressive or anything like that. And also the fact that when I looked at this was it started at 1989, which is when I was born. So I was like, oh man, that's pretty badass, you know. It came out at the same time I was born. So um, yeah, basically, Kiki's Delivery Service is like a little witch or like a princess witch that's starting off, and then at a certain age, which is I think like 14 or 15, I forget, but she has to go on like this apprentice journey, and then she comes from like a countryside, and then she moves into the city life, and she just is like overwhelmed with like so much difference in between the two. And yeah, she is like an apprentice witch, so she doesn't know that many spells or like those magic type stuff, but she tries to get along and blends in well with like the city life. So yeah, that's my top three.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we should just go with set first, and then have the other Tim kind of think of the top three while um, you're going.
Oh yeah, sure. All right. So I agree with you on um Studio Ghibli. I think the director is Miyazaki. So
Mm-hmm.
he's really famous. So yeah, I would recommend any of his films, especially My Neighborhood Totoro,
Mm-hmm.
because you see Totoro everywhere,
Yeah.
right? He's on merchandises, he's on cups. All the kids love him,
Mm-hmm.
and he transcends generations, right? So like even the kids, it's like the Disney movie of Japan, I would
Right.
say,
Right. Yeah.
right? So you should watch these films like with your kids, with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever,
Or alone.
or alone. Exactly, yeah. And it's relevant, right?
Yeah.
And it's cute, it's family friendly. What I like about his films is it's not really like those otaku type animations. There's no like perverted stuff. There's no fan service. It's more just about life. Like how he makes his films is he like, he goes out and he like tries to like paint stories based on people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of his films, they have themes that are, archetypical stories, right? Like Kiki's Adventure and all those stuff. They are, I would say, oh man, I haven't really analyzed those films, but I would say they follow like the hero's journey kind of,
Mm-hmm.
where like I think I think the other Tim explains this better. I'll let him explain that.
Okay.
But yeah, any of the Studio Ghibli films, it's probably one of my top recommendation. My Neighborhood Totoro being the first one, and then my favorite is probably Kiki's Delivery Service too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then my second one would just my personal favorite is Summer Wars, because I kind of like grew up with Digimon like when I was a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
like back in the day. And the director, um, he directed the Digimon movie,
Mm-hmm.
which he wanted at that time to be Summer Wars. And so he had like another chance to redo the whole movie. So if you compare the two, they're very similar. So Summer Wars is pretty much, again, kind of like post-apocalyptic, but in the cyber world, like something that might happen in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much like a computer virus, the whole world, and like the modern world in the setting, everything runs on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the internet breaks down, like there's just catastrophes everywhere, like planes stop flying and stuff like that. It's
Right.
kind of like, yeah. And it's also family friendly, I would say. There's a little bit of romance, no like etchy stuff, no fan service really.
I
It's pretty funny. The
Yeah.
animation is gorgeous, and if you like Digimon, it's you see some of that little you get the little Digimon nostalgia when you watch that film.
I think they also they might have worked along Ghibli Studios with Miyazaki as well. So
I
it
have no clue.
yeah there's a little similarity into it too. Oh yeah, go, sorry, go ahead.
No, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, yeah. My next movie would probably be. Uh, I don't know if I would recommend it to
Mm-hmm.
beginners, but I do like it personally. It's 5 centimeters per second. I
Yeah.
usually recommend it to my friends, but after they watch it, they don't like it
Mm-hmm.
because they said it's too. It's not a happy ending,
Okay.
kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 5 centimeters per second is it's kind of like a romance story,
Mm-hmm.
but it's is like more based on reality, right? Because life is complicated and tragic and full of suffering, and
Mm-hmm.
the film kind of like reminds you that the purpose of life isn't to be happy, because when the first blow of anything that doesn't cause happiness will leave you kind of like you know miserable, and you don't know how to like get on with your life kind of thing. And it's represented by like the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've pretty much it's three short movies, but they all like blend in nicely together. But we can like do another podcast where we like analyze that,
It's
because I don't want to.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to like spoil it too much. But anyways, it's set in the I think 1990s when they were little, because back then we still had those big phones,
Mm-hmm.
and we still had to write letters sometimes when we were kids, and we had like dial-up internet and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So communicating with your friends was really hard. So that's like in the beginning, and then you kind of like I really like it because we kind of like grow up with it, because like when the movie came out, it was like present day, right?
Yeah.
So then there's like high-speed internet and stuff like that, and then there's kind of like this theme where back then it was hard to communicate, and then now if time had switched and they were able to communicate like how we're able to communicate now with like Skype and Discord, then probably their relationship would have been different.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I kind of like that. It's like we take little things like that for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my three, I guess. Yeah.
All right, Tim, what you got?
All right, so there's gonna be a lot of overlap here.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But definitely, I think if you don't have a Ghibli movie in your list, then you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing it right.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Personally, personally, I think what is it? Spirited Away is my favorite. I
oh
think
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
I
agree. I
think the
agree.
world is really stunning. I think it's easy for people to get into,
Yeah.
and I think it has more of a substance for people who are looking for that. And I think it just has everything.
Yeah, I feel like Spirited Away is better than Tortoro.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that Tortoro is everywhere.
Mm,
Like he has marketing value, whereas Spirited
yeah,
Away
definitely.
doesn't, because no one likes the dragon. He's not
Oh,
cute.
to be fair, the Ghibli Studios, their icon is Totoro.
Oh
So.
yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
But yeah, you really can't go wrong with any Ghibli film as long as it's not, like Grave of the Fireflies or something.
That's pretty deep too. Yeah.
And I also picked Summer Wars. I also grew up with Digimon, and that hits deep for me. So,
All right, cool.
and for my last one, it's gonna be a little different. I picked Perfect Blue. It's
Oh.
a film made by Satoshi Kon.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty great director, and I like it because it's kind of a regular like psychological thriller movie as told by like an anime director.
Mm.
So I think it's very accessible. Anyone can watch it and maybe not even, you know, you can kind of just forget that it's an anime movie.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty cool.
But basically, it's about like a pop idol who has a like weird stalker, and she kind of gets scared and goes on the run.
Mhm.
This is just that story.
Okay, so
So it's a psychological thriller.
mhm.
It's less family friendly than the other ones, so gotta round it out a little bit.
Okay, okay. So we all have something that's like, family friendly, and then more like mature on our list, kind of.
Yeah, it comes down to like there's like a bunch of genres, and it's really like preference wise. I mean, it for you guys, your first time or the first anime or manga that you read or watched, is it in this list or how is it? Like the first, if you, I don't know if you guys remember what you watched or read the first time, but is it in this top
I
three?
Yeah, I would say I started probably my first manga was probably Naruto
Mm-hmm.
because it released on Shonen Jump
Yeah.
that I would think it's like either middle school or high school. It's like between there where like Blockbuster used to be alive.
The nostalgia.
Yeah. So after school, I would walk there and I would like buy a Shonen Jump, and then I would read like Naruto is one of those anime and then like and manga, and then like Yu-Gi-Oh, and they had all that other stuff
Mm-hmm.
in there. So that was like my first manga that I really liked.
Oh, what about you, Tim?
Well, the first like anime experience was for me Sailor Moon, but it was kind of weird because we had like bootleg recordings
Mm-hmm.
from these like Korean video rentals, and they were just like Korean dubbed, and so it's kind of weird. But
Okay.
yeah, that was my introduction, and it's kind of not an easy one, but it
Mm-hmm.
was novel at the time, and that really carried it a lot.
Mm, okay.
But it did make it to your top. Oh wait, we're not. It's not movies yet. It's not series. I mean, it might make it.
um yeah, for me it was like simultaneous for me. It was the very first Yu-Gi-Oh. um it was in Japanese. Like at that time, I think there wasn't that many dubs. I think there might have been some subs, but it was mostly like in Japanese. So you had to know Japanese or just plainly enjoy like the whole animation and stuff like that in order to watch these type of stuff. But yeah, for me it was Yu-Gi-Oh and Dragon Ball Z. Um, I think Dragon Ball Z was on the TV every
Yeah.
Saturday morning or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
And yeah, as a
Yeah.
kid, you had to like wake up
Wake up.
early to
Yep.
go watch it. And oh my god, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, this is like some crazy animation that you never seen before happening episode by episode every Saturday morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I spoke about manga, right? That's the first intro. But like
Mhm.
for anime, it would probably be Sailor Moon because it came out. It came out like in the morning as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, before or after, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Dragon Ball Z definitely
Yeah.
was something I woke up for, and then Pokemon, but let's not talk about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I watch Pokemon like every morning.
Yeah. Was there dubs for those anime? I
Yeah,
don't
they were all
remember.
dubbed because
Oh,
they
it was?
were
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
yeah. Because I remember hearing Goku's non-dub voice,
Uh-huh.
and it has like a high
Hi,
pitch to it,
yeah.
right? Yeah, because
Uh,
he's supposed to embody like the childhood spirit. That's why his voice is high.
Mhm.
But then in like the American version, he has like a deeper voice. It's like I got used to that one. So when I heard him speak in Japanese, I freaked out. I was like, why does he sound like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called? what speaking of like dubs, I hated the Yu-Gi-Oh one. Like I personally like the Japanese because it was kind of like more realistic, and then it has like more emotion to it, I guess. Like when he's like the regular like kid Yugi, it was like a little kid's voice, and then when he transformed, it'll be like a teenager's voice versus in the dub version, it was like, yeah, he sounded like a kid, but when he transformed, it's like 40-year-old, 50-year-old dude.
I can see that. No, but like for the dub Yugi, like I really like Pegasus' voice. It's just so funny to me.
Yeah, uh, yeah, it's like I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think it's definitely left an impression.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, for you guys, for the listeners, um, if there's a topic that, or yeah, for the people that may not be a beginner or have been into the anime scene already, definitely uh, email us at latenightowl.pc@gmail.com. That's latenightowl.pc@gmail.com about anime or manga that you recommend, or maybe you agree with one of our recommendations.
or disagree.
Yeah, or disagree. You could like talk smack about it. That's cool too. No problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of see like we kind of like have a bias towards some genre as well. Like Tim really likes sci-fi. Yeah. Or yeah, and then the other Tim is more like, I don't know. It seemed like his list is more like balanced, and then my list is more I guess like more less fantasy.
Yeah,
Very less fantasy. More
realistic.
yeah, more realistic
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Yeah.
So, without any further ado, I like to go to the little short corner of our podcast that I like to do. This is a corner where we let you as a listener create your own short story that you feel is amazing, that you want to share. You may have, and you want like critiques. Um, it could be like a topic for manga, anime, or doujinshi that you want to post and share to the people, let everyone know about it, see how it goes, everything like that. And obviously, this is like the first podcast ever, so it's not like we're gonna have like a email or anything about it. So I actually created one, so I could have Set and Tim kind of be like, this is a bullshit ass story. It's like, this is stupid, or this is like a rip off or whatever. But there's no title for this. I just literally did this in like 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, so you guys ready?
Let's do it. I
All
wasn't
right,
prepared
all
for
right.
this, but let's do it.
So this is for a manga for me. So it starts off with drugs, and the effects of it has changed. In the future, scientists create a super drug capable of manipulating the human brain to transform the human body into a beast, known as the X-Hands. Such drug has caused chaos in the world, leading into total apocalypse. In this world,
What is
steps
it?
to
Post apocalyptic?
apocalypse, man. See, I don't know why I can say apocalypse, but I can't say post-apocalyptic. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah.
Too many syllables. I understand.
Yeah. But anyways, in this world steps Tim, an orphan boy with the desire to end such corruption. However, he soon learns that in order to defeat the chaos, he himself has to become one. Will Tim be able to take on the task, knowing that in the end, after the world has been cleansed, he himself has to take his own life to get rid of all the drugs of the world? What you guys think?
I mean, the only problem I have with that is probably, I guess the drug, you would probably have to go in more depth about drugs,
Right. But this, yeah.
right? Is because like maybe it's more like gene editing kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's very difficult for drugs to edit your genes
Mm-hmm.
unless they're like hormone type drugs.
Right.
Yeah, like that's the only like explanation you would. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Okay.
But remember, this is in the future.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like
You don't know what happens.
from a pharmaceutical standpoint, it's
Oh, damn. Busted out. What about you, Tim?
I'm actually not sure what this segment is.
it's him making his own little manga story,
Oh, yeah. And
and
just
we're like
like,
commenting on it if it's
yeah,
interesting
like,
or not.
give me your critique. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's like, will
You
it
know
be
how
like a good story for
story?
people
Yeah.
to like watch or read?
Or yeah, read like a short or light novel even, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know how like in back in UCSD where we like made this story where like we had I think it was like an android living inside our brain or something like that. I don't remember.
I don't know, dude.
Mm. Yeah, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Oh man. Okay.
Is it?
Anyways, keep going too.
Yeah, go for it, Tim. Give it
Oh
to me.
well,
Give it to me all.
it's got a good hook, but I feel like there's nothing really to it. Like I don't have anything to go on.
Like it's not the like the the whole general. Well, I mean, I can't give you like the whole entire detail. It's just like the quick summary of like how the plot is, I guess. So obviously there isn't much detail to it, but it's just like to get like it's like a hook for you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And I'm just asking, like, would it be like a something that you would actually be like, okay, I'll give it a try, kind of thing, or?
Yeah,
Would-
I think the hook is compelling. There's a lot of things you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see where that goes.
All right. Well, I think there might be a problem where it's like people know too much or
Yeah, like when you
about
try to when you try to do like sci-fi, you have to like really do your research because a lot of problems with like sci-fi fantasy mangas is
Mhm.
if you get the science wrong or it's not based off reality, it's a really like kind of like a turn off.
Mm.
Like, oh, we know that's not possible, right? But if you entertain the fact that it might be possible, then people really like that stuff because it's like, oh, I didn't see it in that way, and it hooks them. So I think just try to get, more kind of like more science based data into it, even though it's weird because it's fiction.
I think no,
Right.
don't get me wrong. It's a good critique, but I think it's just I have this idea that if it's a manga, you could pretty much just over exaggerate it because there's a lot of parts that doesn't make sense in like the real world where it's
No,
like
like it doesn't have to make sense in the real world. It just
Yeah.
has to make sense logically.
Right, okay.
Yeah, just have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Keep to the same theme.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my my little story that I created. And then for the listeners, if you could like just substitute the main character's name, or if there's a name, with either my name, Seth's name, or the other Tim. Well, two Tims, so we're both the same. But be like Tim meets another Tim or whatever like that, right? But yeah, definitely.
go.
If you could
Your-
put that in, yeah.
Your manga can be called T2.
I think that'd be pretty interesting. One where it's like somehow it's different. It's not a twin, but it's like you meet like another Tim, like slice of life or whatever like that, like a world where there's only like one copy of you somehow meets like another one. I don't know.
Yeah, your doppelganger.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's like a story somewhere, like a manga about that. And if you meet your doppelganger, one of you has to die because
Oh.
possibly you two can't exist in the same observation, I guess.
Ooh.
Because it kind of has to do with like quantum.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a paradox, right?
Yeah, pretty much. If you can observe yourself, then one of you has to die. So
Wait,
that's pretty
is that
interesting.
Steins Gate?
I have no clue. It may or may not be.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you seen?
Because I haven't seen Steins Gate.
Oh, you
It might
haven't?
be.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, it might be, because I've only seen like a scene of it, like a clip, and like the main character was explaining that, so it might be, or one of the characters.
I think also a lot of the voice actors or actress that that plays it plays like a really important role. Like in the Japanese one, you could actually like feel what the anime is feeling versus for the English one, I'm just like like it can't really portray what the story tells. I don't know. This is just me. What do you guys think?
I feel like most of the community agree that dub is trash, but for me, I feel like it doesn't matter if you like anime and it's sub, then that's your preference.
Yeah.
But I agree with there's definitely more I guess emotional connection in the voice actors because in Japan they have to select them, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a whole big process there because animation is really big. But then over here I kind of feel like they can cut corners a little bit because there's not a huge market for it, I guess.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. So maybe in the future dub would actually be pretty good. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, time will tell.
Definitely, there's less English voice actors for the
That's
dubbing
it.
community here.
Yeah.
But I mean, because Steve Bloom has done so many voices, but they definitely have way better voice actors and have more of them over there. So
yeah, right. Just based on probability, it's got to be better because the sample size is bigger, right?
Yeah, that's true too. Like if you like listen to a dub, it's like hey, it's like the same voice actor. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I mean, if you hear it like constantly,
unless you're that guy that he like voices all of the main characters of like the modern animes.
Yeah.
I think he does like Kirito, and then he does Eren, and I forgot his name, but he does like everybody.
Well, yeah. For again, I'm just gonna say this again. If you guys have like a short story that you want us to critique or just want to share, it's latenightowl.pc@gmail.com. That's latenightowl.pc@gmail.com. Give us or share to us your story. But yeah, from here on out, it's pretty much free for all. Could pretty much talk about whatever the fuck we want. I haven't said any rules or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why I was like, you have any like questions you prepared?
What do you mean questions?
Like for discussion.
Oh.
Well, how about this? Like, which anime or manga affected you the most personally?
That's a good one.
Like, it kind of like changed your life or your perspective on things.
Well, let's say you, Tim.
Passing it on. It's like, oh shit, I haven't thought about this.
Yeah, it's really hard to say.
I'm just buying time for myself so that I can think about it.
Okay, how about this? Okay, we both grew up with Digimon, right? Like,
Yeah.
what did you like about Digimon with that, and which season, right?
Definitely first season for me.
Okay.
And the thing I liked about it was just a really interesting world. I've never like seen anything like it at that time. It was very novel at that time.
Mm.
It started off with a novel.
No,
Oh,
very no.
it's just like very new,
Oh,
like
sorry,
brand
sorry.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and that was it. Just season 1. You think season 2 went down the drain, or?
The thing is, I watched it really young, so I don't really remember the other
Remember
seasons
much?
as much.
That's true. Like, yeah. I don't really remember season 2. I just remember they had to use like eggs to digivolve
Oh yeah, yeah.
instead of their traditional. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I really like Digimon because it was like, yeah, another world. The world is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, data and stuff. That was pretty new. But I also like that it kind of like attempted to treat you to, um, I guess, present moral values or something like
Really?
that. Yeah, like it tried to do that, right? By in representations of the crest.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Like how I feel like the order is really nice too.
Mm-hmm.
How the first crest that the main character gets, or Tai, is actually courage. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of like starts everything going. And then I find like that how the last crest is hope as well. And I also like how it's kind of like a weird little bit of Christian influence in there too,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Right? Because it's like angel versus devil towards the very end, and there's like this theme where he dies and gets rebirth as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Angelmon, which is like this weak, or this Digimon is like weak, right? And then it evolves into this OP Digimon called Angelmon, and then he like pretty much, you know, one punch the last the last boss Devilmon, and then he dies, and then he becomes an egg again, but then he gets reborn. So it's kind of like Jesus or whatever. So I feel like that's kind of weird how they like did that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That I really liked it, and I like how there's a bit of drama between the group, because usually like kids when they're growing up, they always fight about dumb things,
Mm-hmm.
especially like Ty and Matt. They're supposed to be best friends, but they're always at odds with each other.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
enlighten me. For Digimon, was it just one character, or was like the whole entire group, the the whole main characters? Were there multiple
Yeah,
ones?
yeah. They were I think there were 7. If I think
That this is a group of 7, right? That adventures together, and they're all like main characters. They have like their own Digimon and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Digimon, but it was something that wasn't for me.
okay, there was 8. I forgot Kyrie,
Okay.
because she came later. Yeah.
And then was there like a antagonist, like a kid or something like that? That's like an antagonist that's
I think
going
the
against it.
antagonist that was an actual person came
Mm-hmm.
in season 2.
Okay, so
Yeah. So in season 1 it was more like just again like the whole hero journey kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
Especially with the main character. Well, the leader is probably the main character, right, Ty? But then everyone else has their own personality,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all memorable.
They're all
Except,
different. Yeah.
yeah, they all have their own style of talking, their own Digimon, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and they all represent different things.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're unique. I think they're pretty memorable. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think for any time of this podcast that you as a listener want us to cover or share with everyone else, like a manga, anime, or dojishin, yeah, email us at late night owl.pc@gmail.com. That's late night owl .pc@gmail.com. Manga, anime, or doujishin that you want us to cover based on like the stuff that you want or want reviews for, I guess. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Digimon. Cool. I mean I never got into Digimon. It's just
It's hard, right? Because you're like a kid. You
yeah.
probably only watch it to waste time.
I think it's when you watch it as a kid, you don't really watch it because you want to relate,
Or
you know?
yeah,
Like
you
you don't see
just
the
Yeah.
connectivity. Yeah. It's like, oh cool, there's like a monster, like a
right.
yeah.
That's why Pokemon is so popular
Pop
with
yeah.
kids, even though it follows the same formula every
Yeah.
episode.
And as a kid, it's not like annoying to have like the same kind of outcome. You
Yeah,
know, for Pokemon, it was like Ash fights Team Rocket, and then he beats them, and then yay, that's the
yeah, and
day.
yeah, pretty much, yeah, and it ends. So
Yeah,
it starts like that every like that's the cycle every time.
yeah, and then I mean, yeah, like kids enjoy that, but like for me now, I just can't do like the repetitive anime. It's just I can't do it.
Yeah, you can't because time is more valuable, right? As you age,
Yeah.
because when you're young, time moves very slow. So
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if something is repetitive. Like you remember playing like a video game, like Zelda. I would like circle around Lake Hyrule for like 4 hours, catching the same fish, killing the same crab,
Yeah.
But it was still enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called? Also, like those annoying ones, like Naruto's voice. Like the main character is like really clumsy, and he doesn't know like left and right, and he's just like starting. But you know for a fact that like as it progressive, he becomes like a better person. I can't do that anymore either.
Uh,
It's just like I think there's a new anime called Black Clover.
right.
The
I
main
agree
yeah
with that. Yeah, I agree. I can't get into Black Clover
yeah the main
because the
character is
voice
always yelling or
yelling. Yeah.
screaming, and you know that he's like really clumsy and he's like starting off, and it's just like I can't do this.
Yeah, that's like the typical shonen
Yeah,
like
that's like the
arc thing now.
iconic yeah.
Yeah, it's because we've seen it so many times that
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of put off by it.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen it in Dragon Ball Z, we've seen Bleach, One Piece, Naruto,
Yeah.
right? And there's always this weird power creep
Mm-hmm.
where they have to keep getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the problems and plot holes that shonen mangas have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim? Are you okay with those?
No, I definitely haven't had the patience for those in a very long time.
Mm-hmm. And I think I mean those are like the main stuff too, but I think lately a lot of the overpowered ones are like out, and it's like for some reason it's more enjoyable for me. Like it started off well I don't know if it started off, but one of the manga and anime is One Punch Man, where he's just like overpowered, and it's hilarious actually. I think they did it more of like a comedic type of anime and manga.
It's kind of like a parody, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think people like that kind of thing once in a while. Yeah.
Also, season 2 is coming out this year. What am I thinking of? There's like a new one, not One Punch Man, but what was it called? If I was a slime, I'd reborn as a slime or something like that. It's like a super overpowered, like RPG kind of type deal.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like people like main characters who are either extremely overpowered
Or like
or
progressive. Yeah.
yeah, or they're like something you can kind of like relate to in a little bit. Like he's
Mm.
pathetic, he's weak, but he progresses.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't really like people in the middle.
Oh, you know what it is? It's like the people who grew up with like Dragon Ball Z, like our generation, you could say, um, like we all grew up, so like the anime like grows up with us, kind of. Like
Yeah,
obviously there's like the the new viewers and like kids that gets into the anime scene and stuff like that, but I think there's a lot of our age group that kind of like grew up with all those old school anime that now it's just like we seek more. I wouldn't say like advanced, but like more detailed, I guess, anime and manga.
yeah, or the fact that you don't want to see like something that's kind of like predictable.
Mm,
I guess you want to see something new,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah, because again, right? Time is precious. You don't want to do the same shit over and over again, especially watching reruns. I don't know. Some people still. That's why I can never watch movies again, like consecutively. Like I know some people still watch like, like they go to the movies and they watch Aquaman like 10 times.
Oh, that's me.
Like yeah, like I can't do that because I feel like time is precious and yeah. But that's my take. I mean, I'm not trying to say there's something wrong with those people. I'm just saying it's like something I can do.
Oh no, oh no, I definitely feel your hate right now.
Oh man. So, yeah. So you're gonna answer the question? You thought enough time?
Wait, what was the question?
Which like anime or manga kind of like changed your life or had a big impact on you?
Oh. Well, I mean, you guys were talking about Digimon and stuff, so.
No, we were buying you time because we were just talking about Digimon because it kind of like
Oh.
it has that nostalgic feel to it.
Well, shit, I
Yeah,
definitely did not.
yeah.
I was just
Because
jumping
that's why
on.
we like Summer Wars because it has that nostalgia to it.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's not something like maybe it did change my life because like it's subconsciously those subconscious message does stick with you. So I
The
feel like
possibility too, right? Like in the future, where there's like programming and stuff like that, um, there. I just think what's it called, the avatars that you could control them and that's your life type deal was like pretty cool.
yeah, like yeah, the movie Avatar. I think there's one kind of like that too. It's a Japanese movie where like everyone lives in a fake body
Hmm.
and the girl is extremely lewd or dressed kind of like lewd. What is it? Something paradise. Something out of paradise. Maybe.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, while you're searching, for me, the anime that changed my life was Rurouni Kenshin, or you stupid American fucking people who changed the fucking name to Samurai X. Yeah, I think Rurouni Kenshin was like so like life changing for me. I mean, from there, I just started watching more mature, I guess.
Oh, when was this? Like around what? High school, middle school?
When did Rurouni Kenshin come out? What I think maybe
You mean
Middle to high
Samurai
school.
X?
I don't even know why they would fucking
You mean
make it
Samurai
Samurai
X?
X. I mean,
Did
yeah.
they really change the name? It was still called Rurouni Kenshin when I watched it.
Uh,
Yeah,
y-
me too.
yeah,
But
there is, but you know that there is a name Samurai X, right?
I thought Samurai X was the OVA that came out after it.
Oh, you might be right. I
oh yeah,
mean,
Tim is right. Or the other Tim
yeah, I'm always
that
right.
spoke second. No, not this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a OVA. It was
Okay.
called Samurai X, yeah. But it was
Why?
still
Why?
called Rurouni Kenshin.
Why would it do that? That makes no sense. But yeah. Anyways. Yeah. I think after I watched that, it was like enough comedy to the point where you could tolerate it, and I think it was more mature based. I think I cried on the whole TV series too. It was like pretty badass, like samurais, and I think introduced the whole like guns and stuff like that era. What's it called? Like the Meiji era or something like that for Japan,
Yeah, yeah.
where they
Right.
started to introduce guns in like
Guns, yeah.
foreign countries and religion and stuff like that. It was pretty badass, yeah.
Kind of like the Last Samurai movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I think it's exactly like that, minus the super powered, like, like
Tom Cruise.
yeah,
Never trained in his life. Kills like 20 men.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just think like even in Rurouni Kenshin, it's just like a random samurai that comes, and he's like not too powerful, but he's still like really badass, you know, that has like these overpowered moves and everything like that. I thought that was pretty cool,
Mm.
and I think that's where I started off watching, or I kind of shied away, or not shied away, but like kind of just gave up on those progressive animes and started watching like those type of anime.
Well, like you mentioned Gantz. Like Gantz is pretty long, I think, right?
But it's not like Naruto, right? It because like yeah,
There's no power creep. Like
yeah,
no matter
and
how
then
strong the main character is, he still like gets one shot.
yeah, and then what's it called? The main character, he was like a high schooler or college. I don't remember.
High school, definitely.
Yeah, but like it didn't feel like a annoying kid or anything like that, right? It's just like something that I might be able to relate to, like the regular life that he had. And then in the both manga and anime, they would show like bits and pieces of how his life would have been like normally.
Oh yeah, because he kind of like lives alone, does everything alone.
Yeah, yeah. After he
Yeah.
like gets set free for a certain period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like yeah, I can see why. Okay.
And also there's like boobs, so
Oh yeah, there
Can't-
is a lot of nudity.
I
in
mean
Gantz.
I mean Angelina Jolie's boobs. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, there is a lot. Yeah, definitely not something you would talk to strangers about, unless they like Gantz too.
Yeah, unless
then that's fine.
you're into this.
Yeah, yeah. If they're like, hey, you play Pokemon Go, and then you go like, no, do you read Gantz? Yeah, that's probably not a good conversation starter.
I think it's just me, but I don't really talk to like strangers, even if like you're trying to like um I don't know, when it comes to anime and stuff like that, I don't really share like with a lot of people of like what I watch or read. Like
Yeah,
even
because no, because like back like when we were like in high school, right? It was still something that was kind of new and shamed upon.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when we went to Anime Expo, there was like nobody, no,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but then like if we go to Anime Expo now, it's super crowded and like everyone is like accepting, right? And
Yeah.
the reason why it's so accepting is because girls accept it, right? They cosplay and they stuff, right? Because part of why things are acceptable is actually predetermined by women. Women get to determine what's cool and what's not, right? Because they
Mhm.
guard the reproductive gate. So if if they think anime is cool, then you know you want to climb that hierarchy because they like that. Now it's acceptable thanks to cosplay.
All hell cosplay.
Yeah, all cosplay, right? It's pretty much modeling, pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's
But-
true.
Right, girls dressed in like skimpy
Mm-hmm.
fits, and all guys, you know. Yeah, times have changed definitely.
I actually didn't like think of it that way, but yeah, that's like a one way of thinking. That's crazy. Is it like that now though? Like, do
Yeah,
people
if-
actually watch and try to connect with like other people?
I haven't had a problem, like even with my coworkers, and even if with like Generation Z's, so people like 17,
Mm-hmm.
like even if I talk to them about, they're very like they're actually kind of into it too. Like even people who don't watch like there's like otaku anime, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
one with like full fan service. And
Yeah.
when you watch stuff like that, if you haven't seen it before, you kind of have this assumption that you're a pervert or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then people like kind of like know better now, so because they seen like Kimi no Nawa, they seen like Mirai no Mirai, they seen Studio Ghibli films, so now they're able to kind of like differentiate between genres,
Mm-hmm.
and they can appreciate that hey, it's just kind of like a Disney movie, and who doesn't like Lion King, and who doesn't like Aladdin, and stuff like that. They know that it's not anime is just not hentai and boobies and tentacle whatever that people used to have this um I guess prejudice towards a certain group of people who like this kind of thing. So we're not judged as much anymore.
What?
Yeah,
I thought anime was all about the boobs, man.
yeah, right. Okay, okay. Well, that's your take.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's still obviously boobs play a big role in anything, right? Like
Yeah.
women love them, guys love them too. Guys love them probably more, a little bit more. So yeah, boobs are important, and
Yeah. So, kind of nearing the end, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up. Um, so, so the very end of the corner, or not corner, but I just want to make an announcement. There's like manga or anime or doujin that's gonna come out or came out is brand new, and for the topic of today is Dragon Ball Z Super, the movie Brawly is going to come out, or it's out in Japan already, but it's coming out in the U.S. and every other place, UK, January 16th of this year. So my take is, are you guys excited, or did you guys know about it?
I sadly don't follow Dragon Ball
Dragon Ball
Z.
Z?
Yeah,
Same, yeah.
yeah. So
What?
I'm not
Like,
not excited about it.
not even like in general. You haven't seen like the first Dragon Ball TV series and stuff.
No, I haven't. I heard the first Dragon Ball was really good though.
Yeah, like the Kid Goku and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's not to like about it?
I think it's just like kind of like the same shonen kind of like pattern to it, where
Mm-hmm.
like they fall into this weird pattern where there has to be like this power creep. So Goku has how many forms now, right? From
Yeah.
like Super Saiyan 3 to like Blue or whatever, or
Yeah.
God to Ultra Instinct. So
Mm-hmm.
so now as the show goes on, he has to get even stronger. So there has to be something after Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like you're writing yourself into kind of like a dead end, because like, oh, you're stronger than God, something has to be stronger than God, and something has to be stronger than God, gods, it's like, okay,
I think
good luck with that.
I think it's just in the beginning you have to have been already like watching and keeping up with the Dragon Ball Z. It's
Yeah,
like not something that you would actually be like, yeah, I'm gonna start on the whole series, you know?
exactly, because it
And,
has
yeah.
the nostalgia attachment to it.
Right, and because of that nostalgia, it's like since like the whole TV series ended, we're gonna come out with this new movie or like a pre what's it called, like a prequel of it or a sequel, like going back to the TV series, and everyone gets hyped about it, you know. So
Yeah,
in terms of people who hasn't seen it or don't know anything about it, they're just like, oh, okay, whatever. It's not that great, you know?
yeah, and I think Goku is like a really likable character as
Yeah, it's
well.
iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, because he has like those positive characteristic traits that you
Mm-hmm.
admire, right? He fights fair. Even if he can beat you, he still like plays with you.
Mm-hmm.
right? And sometimes he even lets you win, right?
Yeah.
So that you'll play with him again, and that's something that I feel like is also an archetypical story
Yeah.
where like if you want to play with someone, you can't keep beating them. Like in Smash, right? If you play with like your friend or something, if you beat them hardcore all the time, they don't want to play anymore. So like
Yeah.
sometimes you have to let them win, and then they'll try to like, oh, it's fun for them. Same thing with like playing with little kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to like, you know, start playing chess with them and just like murder them right away. You want to like, oh, hey, I made a mistake, kind of like
Yeah.
that. This is a good social lesson, I guess, for that.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Tim? Like, about the whole uh, Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super and how, or what we talked about, like what we just talked about. I don't want to
I
repeat
mean,
it.
I did love Dragon Ball when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because I loved the original Dragon Ball. I love Kid Goku, but mostly I love the focus on exploration and just like seeing all the mythology, all the like Journey to the West type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of when they went to Z, it kind of transitioned into something else, and I kind of fell off from that.
Mm.
It was more like I felt like I was being promised something else, and I got something different.
Right.
Definitely something different.
I mean, to be fair, the author he intended to stop right after the Frieza saga, so it was only supposed to be one, and then that's it. But because a lot of people enjoyed it, he was, I think he was forced to keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a rumor that he was forced, but still, great anime. If you want to get into it.
I feel like he was just writing as he was going.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt like the story was progressing.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have like direction to it. He just like oh, this has to happen, and then what's the next logical step? Something like that.
Yeah, it's that. I think that's also the how it was back then for editors or like those people who drew those type of manga and anime.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like more strict, and it's like, oh, you have to follow this guideline.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have
You
to
have to
do
have a
this.
storyboard and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
people really don't like plot holes. It really bothers them.
yeah. See, like, I mean, now it's just like planned out, but unlike this podcast.
Yeah, that's why I said like you kind of like the unless you're gonna have a podcast where you just talk about anything, and then people can be like, oh, they're just gonna talk about anything.
All right, listen. If
But,
you want to talk about anything, you gotta go to the Joe Rogan Regan podcast, okay?
yeah, exactly, right? Like
Yeah,
you have to like narrow it, yeah. Because usually people listen to podcasts because there's information that interests them, right?
yeah, definitely.
Like opinions or something. So it's good to know.
Yeah,
So like Tim said, like the other Tim, I'm being promised something, so we should deliver, right? And
yeah.
Dragon Ball Z didn't deliver.
It wasn't
Their promise.
promising. It failed us. You failed, Dragon Ball. You failed. Okay, well, if you guys don't have anything else, I like to finish off. Jacking off.
Wait, before we finish though, what's gonna be our next podcast topic?
Oh, that's for the what's it called? The keep
The
following and
viewer,
find out.
right? So the viewer is
But
gonna decide, or we're gonna like kind of decide
no,
right
no,
now.
we'll have a topic ready. It's just today was like the very first podcast, so because it's like the beginning, I just thought it'll be cool to have like the first manga or anime
Okay.
and the,
Yeah.
yeah, all that stuff. But it's just this first podcast that we're talking like this, but
Love that.
yeah, we'll definitely reflect on what we did right and wrong, and obviously it'll be better next podcast.
Yeah, hopefully we keep improving. So
Yep.
no, we don't have a topic in mind yet.
Treat us kindly, please, senpai. Onegaishimasu. But yeah, for any time of the stream or recording that you feel that as a listener or follower you don't like it, you want to just talk shit about me, or want to have your own opinion, give us an email shoot at latenightowl.pc@gmail.com. That's latenightowl.pc@gmail.com. And so this
Or
is
they can just type it like what they're doing right now. I stop.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, this is the end for the podcast for today. So thanks guys for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And same time next week we're gonna be doing the same type of podcast. We're gonna be talking about anime, manga, doujishin. So if that's your shit, let's go. Thank you. Have a good night. Morning.
All right.